made the difference tonight?
No, I think I kept the intensity well throughout the match. She's a very intense player and has really good shots, so I'm really happy with the win.
And you also had a lot of fans supporting you here in Linz tonight. A lot of fans from the Philippines, but I heard they actually live in Austria. Some of them are in Vienna, some of them in Linz, in Salzburg. What did it mean to you to also have a lot of people cheering for you?
It means so much. Hello mga kababayan. Hindi ko inakala ang dami ninyo dito sa Linz, pero salamat sa pagsubaybay sa mga laban ko at magkita tayo tomorrow. Yes.
And going back to Linz, I know it's your first time here. How do you enjoy it so far?
I think it's amazing. I'm really happy with how they've welcomed me and welcomed the Filipinos. I think I guess we match really well because there are a lot of them here. So I'm really thankful for the hospitality. I hope to discover your culture more and have some fun on the court.
And I guess the fans are having some fun tonight, of course, celebrating you. Congrats once again and all the best for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Das ist Alexandra Eala von den Philippinen. Die sehen wir dann alle spätestens übermorgen, aber möglicherweise schon morgen. Also unbedingt noch schauen, ob es Tickets gibt für Mittwoch oder Donnerstag. Dann zweite Runde hier beim Upper Austria Ladies in Linz. Jetzt gibt's wieder was für die Fans. Some presents for the fans. Signed tennis ball.
So her evening's work is done. And she will be back in action tomorrow, will Eala.
So the ball with the number 1. Who's got the ball with the number 1? Wins a download
Straight set win
tennis bag
for Eala. And this is how she did it in terms of.
There is a lie, a powerful, dangerous, carefully constructed lie, that the world of sports has been feeding you for years, that elite athletes don't feel pressure, that champions don't break, that the greatest players on the planet are somehow built differently, cold, calculated, emotionless. Step onto the court to execute perfectly, destroy your opponent, and walk away without feeling anything at all. Like machines, but that's not reality, that's an illusion. And in Austria, that illusion didn't just crack, it shattered. Because what happened on that court wasn't just about tennis, it was about pressure, it was about survival. And most importantly, it was about what happens when a human being is pushed to their absolute limit and still refuses to break. At the center of it all, a 20-year-old. Not just playing for herself, but carrying the weight of over 100 million people. Alexandra Eala. Pressure in sports is often misunderstood. Fans see it as excitement, energy, adrenaline. But real pressure, it's different, it's quiet, it builds slowly over time. Every expectation, every headline, every comment adds another layer. Until one day, you step onto the court and it's no longer just a game. It's a responsibility. Because when you represent something bigger than yourself, failure doesn't feel personal. It feels public, it feels heavy. And for Alexandra Eala, that weight is constant. She's not just a rising tennis player. She is the face of tennis for an entire nation. Millions watching, millions hoping, millions expecting. Every match she plays carries meaning far beyond the scoreboard. And in Austria, that weight followed her onto the court. If you look at the final result, it tells a very simple story. 6-4, 6-3, straight sets, clean victory, the kind of match that gets summarized in a single sentence. Comfortable win? But that description couldn't be further from the truth, because this match was never meant to be comfortable. It was designed to be difficult, to be chaotic, to be a test. The Upper Austria Ladies Linz Open created the perfect environment. A smaller arena, just around 3,000 seats. But that size made everything more intense. Every cheer echoed louder. Every reaction felt closer. Every mistake felt heavier. There was no escape from the noise, no space to breathe. And that was exactly the point, because this wasn't just a neutral match. This was home territory for Julia Grabher, a 29-year-old Austrian veteran, experienced, resilient, and most importantly, backed by the full force of the crowd. She didn't walk onto that court expecting to dominate. She walked in with a mission to disrupt, to frustrate, to break rhythm, to turn the match into something messy, unpredictable, uncomfortable. Because when you're facing a player with more talent, more momentum, more attention, you don't play their game, you destroy it. And that's exactly what she did. From the very first point, this wasn't clean tennis. This was a battle, long rallies, heavy exchanges, unpredictable patterns, points that didn't follow structure. It wasn't about elegance. It was about survival. Grabher forced Eala into positions she didn't want to be in. Defensive corners, awkward angles, uncomfortable timing. Every rally felt like a test. Not just of skill, but of patience, of control, of mental strength. Because this wasn't about winning beautifully, it was about winning at all costs. And then the real pressure began. Breakpoints in tennis, these are the moments that decide everything. They are the difference between control and collapse, and in this match they came again and again and again. 10 times. 10 separate moments where everything could have gone wrong. 10 opportunities for the match to shift. 10 chances for the pressure to take over. Because when you're serving and the crowd is against you and the score is tight, a single mistake feels like the end. And for most players, that's exactly what happens. They crack, they rush. They overthink, they lose control. But this time, something different happened. Because Alexandra Eala didn't collapse, she didn't panic, she didn't let the moment control her. She stood there under pressure with everything against her, and she fought back. Out of those 10 breakpoints, she saved 9. 9 moments where she could have lost control and didn't. 9 times where the pressure peaked and she held her ground. That's not normal, that's not luck, that's something deeper, something that can't be taught easily. Mental strength. Real mental strength. The kind that only shows up when everything is on the line. Because numbers in tennis tell a story, and in this match, they told a very clear one. Grabher created opportunities, she pushed, she pressured, she forced mistakes. But when the moment came when it mattered most, she couldn't finish. Only 1 out of 10 breakpoints converted. That's where the match was lost. Because at the highest level, it's not about how many chances you get, it's about what you do with them. And on the other side of the net, Eala was doing something special. She wasn't just surviving pressure, she was controlling it, turning it into something she could manage, handle, win through. And here's what makes it even more impressive. She didn't dominate with power. No aces. 0. In modern tennis, that sounds like a weakness. But in this match, it became her strength. Because she wasn't trying to overpower her opponent. She was outplaying her, using precision, consistency, control. Landing 73% of her first serves, keeping rallies stable. Keeping pressure manageable. She wasn't rushing. She wasn't forcing. She was building point by point, like someone who understood exactly what the match required. And after all of that, after every rally, every breakpoint, every moment of pressure, it finally ended. One last shot, the ball lands in, the match is over. And for a moment, everything goes quiet. No movement, no reaction, just stillness. Because what comes next is something no one expected, not from a winner. Not from someone who just survived one of the toughest matches of her career. Because in that moment, the strongest player on the court couldn't hold it in anymore. 10 breakpoints. A hostile crowd, a match designed to break her, and somehow she survived, but survival comes at a cost. Because holding everything in for that long under that much pressure, eventually something has to give. The final rally ends, a controlled exchange, one last shot. The ball lands deep out of reach. Point, game, match, it's over, and for a fraction of a second time freezes. No celebration, no scream, no raised arms, just silence. The kind of silence that only exists after chaos. Because for nearly 2 hours, everything had been loud. The crowd, the tension, the pressure, and now nothing. She stands there, still. Processing as if her body hasn't caught up yet. Then slowly, the racket slips from her hand. Not thrown, not dropped in anger, just released. Like she doesn't need to hold it anymore. And then it happens. She brings her hands to her face, and the moment breaks open. The tears come instantly, not controlled, not hidden, real, raw, unstoppable. And in that moment, everything the world believes about athletes falls apart. Because this isn't how champions are supposed to react. This isn't the image sports media sells. Winners are supposed to celebrate. Smile, show dominance, not cry, not collapse emotionally, not show weakness. But this wasn't weakness, this was truth. Because what you saw on the court was only half the story. What you didn't see was everything happening inside her. Every breakpoint wasn't just a point, it was a question. Can you handle this? Every cheer from the crowd wasn't just noise, it was pressure. Every rally was a test, not just of skill, but of control. And every time she stepped up to serve, with the match on the edge, she had to silence everything. The noise, the doubt, the fear, again and again and again. Until there was nothing left to hold it all together. Because this isn't just about one match, it's about everything that comes with it. She is not just a player, she is a symbol. For over 100 million Filipinos, she represents something bigger than sport. Hope, pride, possibility, and that kind of responsibility doesn't turn off when the match starts. It stays with you. In every moment, in every decision, in every mistake you're trying not to make. Because when you lose, it doesn't just feel like your loss, it feels like you've let people down. Millions of them. And when you win, it's relief, not just joy, relief that you didn't break, that you held on, that you proved you could carry it. But there's another battle, a quieter one. The one inside your own mind. The questions, the doubts, the voices. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe this surface isn't yours. Maybe this is where it ends. And when you're in a match like this, with the pressure building, with the crowd against you, those thoughts get louder. They push in, they try to take control. And the hardest part, you have to ignore them completely, while still performing, while still thinking, while still executing. And that's what she did. Point after point, moment after moment, she stayed in control, even when everything inside her was fighting to break free. So when the match ended, when the final point was secured, there was nothing left to hold it in. All the pressure, all the tension, all the fear, all the effort, released at once. Those tears were not a reaction to winning. They were a reaction to surviving, to making it through something that almost broke her, and realizing she didn't let it happen. Because moments like this change players. They don't just build confidence, they build belief, the kind of belief that stays with you. That tells you, I've been here before. I've felt this pressure before. I know I can survive it. And once a player has that, everything changes. They stop fearing the moment. They start controlling it. And that's when they become dangerous. Because now, she's not just a talented young player, she's not just potential, she's not just hype, she's something else. A problem. A real threat. Someone who has proven that when the match gets hard, when the pressure rises, when everything is on the line, she doesn't disappear. She doesn't collapse. She stays. And she fights until the very end. But this moment, this match, this emotional release is only the beginning, because what comes next is even bigger, stronger opponents, higher stakes. Greater pressure, and one massive question still waiting to be answered. Can she take this resilience, this emotional strength, and turn it into something more? Because surviving is one thing, but dominating, that's a completely different level. She faced the pressure. She survived the chaos. She held her nerve when most would break. But now everything changes. Because in professional tennis, surviving one match is never enough. The real question is, what happens next? After the tears, after the emotion, after the release, there's always a moment that no one talks about, the reset. Because once the crowd disappears, once the cameras turn away, you're alone again. Alone with your thoughts. And that's where the next battle begins, because now there are expectations. Not just from fans, not just from media, but from yourself. Because after surviving something like that, you know what you're capable of, and that realization, it changes everything. Before this match, she was fighting to prove herself, to show she belongs, to silence doubt, but now that doubt is gone. Because she's already faced one of the toughest situations possible, and she didn't break. So the mindset shifts from, can I do this, to I've already done it, and that's dangerous. Because confidence built on real experience is something no opponent can take away. And here's the part most people don't realize. When something like this happens, other players notice. They watch, they analyze, they understand, because they've been in those situations. They know how hard it is to survive that kind of pressure. And when they see someone young handle it like that, they don't just see talent, they see a threat. A real one, because now when they face her, they know something important. She won't give up, she won't collapse, she won't make it easy. And in tennis, that changes everything. Because this tournament doesn't get easier. The deeper you go, the harder it becomes. Stronger opponents, better strategies, more pressure. And waiting ahead are players who won't just test her, they'll push her even further to her limits. Maybe beyond them, because at this level, every round is a new challenge, a new question. A new chance to prove that you belong. And then there's the name everyone is watching. Jelena Ostapenko, a Grand Slam champion, aggressive, fearless, unpredictable. The kind of player who doesn't let you settle, who doesn't let you breathe, who forces you to be perfect. And if that match happens, it won't be like the first one. There will be no adjustment period. No time to ease in, just pressure from the very first point. And that's where we find out if this was just survival or something more. Because surviving one match proves something, but dominating a tournament, that proves everything. It proves consistency, it proves control, it proves elite-level readiness. And that's the next step, turning moments like this into momentum, turning pressure into performance, turning belief into results. Because if she can do that, if she can build on this, then this isn't just a good run. It's the beginning of something much bigger, because tennis is changing, the game is evolving. And new players are stepping into the spotlight, but not all of them handle the pressure. Some rise quickly and disappear just as fast. Others, they grow, they adapt, they fight. And slowly they take over. The question is, which one is she? Because after this match, after everything she went through, there's only one way to find out. Keep going, keep winning. Keep proving it again and again. Because one day, sooner than people expect, she's going to walk onto a much bigger stage. A louder crowd, a higher pressure moment. Maybe even a Grand Slam final. And when that moment comes, when everything is on the line, she's going to remember this. Austria, the pressure, the crowd, the fear. And the moment she didn't break. Because that's where champions are made, not in easy wins, not in comfortable matches, but in moments where everything is against you, and you still find a way. Final cinematic ending, because in Austria, this wasn't just a victory, it wasn't just another match, it was a statement, a message to the entire tennis world, that she's not just here to compete, she's here to fight, to survive, and maybe very soon to take over, because Alexandra Eala didn't just win that match. She proved something far more important, that no matter how loud the pressure gets, no matter how difficult the moment becomes, she will not break. Subscribe now for real sports stories. You don't want to miss what's coming next.